Hello friends, welcome back to my video series on analysis of determinate structures. So we are in the process of solving few examples using energy methods and energy principles. So in the previous videos we have used the virtual work principle to find deflection at a point in a truss. Some 3 examples we have already solved. Now what I will do, I will take all those examples or a couple of those examples and I will try to solve the deflection at the same point, but now using Castigliano's principle. So we have already seen how to find the deflection at that particular point using virtual work principle, and I will take a couple of those problems and I will try to solve the deflection at the same point using Castigliano's theorem. So now this is our example. So we need to find the deflection at A using Castigliano's theorem. We already found the deflection at A for the same truss for the same loading, but using virtual work principle. Now we will cross verify whether we will get same answer or not using Castigliano's principle. Of course we should get a same value. Now what I will do here, the steps are very simple. What I have to do, I have to take this truss without this external load, but instead of this external load at the same point in the same direction, I'll put a load something around say P, right? Or I can say F load I can put in the same at the same point in the same direction, and I will try to solve the forces in each and every member of the truss using method of joint. So now what I will do, I will take the same truss but without this 5 kN. Instead of 5 kN I will put a load of say F. So I will draw that truss. Okay, I have drawn the truss. Now instead of 5 kN I am putting a load of say F, and in terms of F I will try to find what are the forces in each and every member of the truss. So let us start with joint A. I will draw the free body diagram of joint A. Okay, I have drawn the free body diagram of joint A. I will apply the first equilibrium equation, summation of Fy equal to 0, taking all the upward forces as positive. So I will end up with minus F because this is downwards, and this AB will, since it is inclined, it will be having the components like this. So the vertical component is downwards, so that also I should take it as minus FAB sine of 53.13 equal to 0. So once I solve this, I will get the value of FAB as minus 1.25 F. It means, since I'm getting minus sign, it means AB I had assumed it as compression, but it is not compression, it is tension. So I will just rewrite that FAB equal to 1.2 times F. It is not compression, instead it is tension. So let me just mark on this. It is tension, arrow away from the joint, and the value is 1.25 times P. So we're finding the forces in each and every member of the truss in terms of F. I'm sorry, it is not P, it is actually F. Okay, now I will apply the second equilibrium equation. So the second equilibrium equation is summation of Fx equal to 0, taking all the forces in this direction as positive. I will end up with this kind of an equation, FAD minus FAB cos of 53.13 equal to 0. So FAD I don't know, but I know the value of FAB. So now when you want to substitute the value of FAB, you should actually not substitute plus 1.25. Instead you should substitute minus 1.25. Why? Because this equation you have written by looking at this free body diagram. Okay, so in this free body diagram still FAB arrow is towards the joint itself. Because of that, the components you have written by considering arrow towards the joint. So when you written this equation by considering arrow towards the joint, in that case you have to substitute minus 1.25 F only and not plus 1.25 F. So if you substitute plus 1.25 F, that will go wrong in this equation. So when you substitute that value, I will get the value of FAD as I will get minus 0.75 F. So you are getting FAD also in terms of minus. It means you had assumed FAD as tension, but it is not tension, instead it is compression. So 0.7 times F compression. So let me just mark that. So it is arrow towards the joint and its value is 0.7 times F. Okay, now we have done for joint A. Let me go to joint B and draw the free body diagram. Okay, I have drawn the free body diagram of joint B. I know the value of force in the member BA, which is 1.25 and it is tension. I am assuming the force in the member BD as tension, and also I am assuming the force in the member BC as tension. And let us check whether my assumptions are correct or not. So I will apply the first equilibrium equation. Summation of Fx equal to 0, taking all the forces in this direction as positive. So I will end up with this kind of an equation, FBC minus, since these two are inclined, so this will have a component in this direction and this will have a component in this direction, minus FBA, or I can say minus 1.25 cos of 53.13, then plus FBD into cos of 53.13. No any other force, so I will equate it to 0. So let me call this equation as say 1, because two unknowns are there in this. This is one unknown and this is another unknown, but this is known to us. I will apply the next equilibrium equation, summation of Fy equal to 0. This will have a downward component, this will also have a downward component. Next I will apply that equation, minus 1.25 F, that is because of FBA, into sine of 53.13 minus FBD into sine of 53.13 equal to 0. And now I can solve this to get the value of FBD as minus 1.25 F. It means BD you had assumed it as tension, but it is not tension, instead it is compression. So FBD is equal to 1.25 F compression. And when you substitute the value of FBD in equation 1, but you have to substitute minus 1.25 and not plus 1.25. So when you substitute that, you will get the value of FBC as 1.5 F. So you're getting positive, it means FBC you had assumed it as tension, so it is correct. So let me just mark those things here. This force in the member BD as compression 1.25 F, and this as tension of 1.5 P. Okay, so we have found all the forces in the truss, and let me summarize them in the form of a table. So let me just summarize that. Okay, I have summarized that table. These are the members and these are the forces in the members of the truss. Because of application of P load, I think it should be actually F instead of P. I'll just rewrite that. Okay, so instead of P it should be actually F. Some people use P also, no problem with that. And now here this column represents the partial differentiation of these with respect to F, right? So when I partially differentiate 1.25 F in terms with respect to f, I'll get 1.25, and when I partially differentiate minus 0.75 with respect to f, I will get minus 0.75. So minus indicates it is compressive force. Now this column represents the value of forces in each and every member of the truss when you put f equal to phi. What is that phi? That phi is actually the original load what you are applying on the structure. Now this column represents the length of each and every member of the truss, and this column represents the multiplication of this, and this. So why I'm doing that is, if you remember, this is the formula which we have arrived for the Castigliano's theorem. So this is summation of delta Fi by Fi with respect to f times Fi Li divided by Ae, where A and E are the cross-sectional area and Young's modulus of the truss material. So I'm getting this summation value. Now if I want to find the value of f, that is delta f at A, it should be actually 64.375, that is that summation divided by AE. A and E values are already known to us. We can substitute the value of A and E. When I substitute, I will get the value of delta f at A as 0.536 millimeters downwards. Now you can compare this value with respect to the one which we have found in this, this one. We are getting the same value. So this is the same truss, but we have solved using the virtual work principle. I'm getting the same value, and when I solve that same problem using the Castigliano's theorem, I'm getting the same value. So the A and E values are actually given here. So the A value is, that is cross-sectional area, is 600 millimeter square, and the Young's modulus is 200 gigapascal. So friends, this is how we can apply the Castigliano's principle to get the deflection at a point. Now here, the advantage what you can see with respect to the virtual work principle is, only we need to analyze this truss once, but in case of virtual work principle, we have to analyze the truss twice. Why twice? Because once we have to analyze to get the virtual forces, and once we have to analyze it to get the real forces. But here there is no need to do 2 times of analysis. We can do only once, and we can get the value of the deflection at a particular point. So we'll solve one more example on Castigliano's theorem. Till then, thank you. Bye.